So I think the important thing to note is that there is quite a significant gap between the perceived risks in cybersecurity. The way I see cybersecurity today, back in the days when I started my career in Shanghai, the security there was still quite lax. People need to take cybersecurity more seriously. They understand that it's not going anywhere, it's part of the business. Specifically in cybersecurity, there's a significant trust factor.
Hello and welcome to the Real Biz Life Chronicles, where we discuss all things business, branding and life from the Horizon Digital podcast recording studio here in Perth. I'm your host Tracy Fryer, the founder of Design Studio Perth, and because Design Studio Perth is dedicated to helping business owners grow with distinction through captivating branding and design, we're offering all our listeners a free brand discovery. So if you find yourself frustrated with your current branding and marketing and aren't too sure where to next, use a link in the show notes below to book in a time to have a chat. Now, I don't know about you, but I find the best conversations are had over a great cup of coffee. And so the coffee for each episode of the Real Biz Life Chronicles is brewed for us by no other than the legends at Cuppa Cartel. They're fueling great conversations, one cuppa at a time. Now, the Real Biz Life Chronicles is on a mission to become one of Australia's leading business podcasts, but in order to do that, we please need your help. If you do enjoy today's episode, we please ask that you like and subscribe to our channels below, or simply share this episode with a fellow business owner who is doing one of the hardest things in the world, building a business. Now, if there is a question you'd like us to ask our guests, please feel free to pop it in the comments section below, or simply send us an email at info@therealbizlifechronicles.com. My guest today once ran 68 kilometres through sub-zero temperatures at night with nothing but a headlamp. He's no stranger to risk, but unlike most, he doesn't just survive it, he studies it, breaks it down, and teaches others how to navigate it. A chemical engineer turned cybersecurity leader, whether it's industrial crisis management or ethical hacking, he lives at the edge of danger with a calm, calculated intensity. Those close to him describe him as calm, curious, and relentless. He's obsessed with photography, dogs, and riding into the unknown on two wheels. And he's the kind of guy who will climb the mountain just to help someone else see the view. This episode isn't about fear. It's about courage, integrity, and why most business leaders still aren't taking cybersecurity seriously. Mathew Breuillac, welcome to the Real Biz Life Chronicles.
Thank you.
Matt, tell us, what can our listeners expect to learn from our conversation today?
So I think the important thing to note is that there is quite a significant gap between the perceived risks in cybersecurity and the actual risks. And now that CyberNode has been around for a few years, performing pen tests on mostly Western Australian, but Australian businesses, we have quite a good feedback on what can be found from a hacker's perspective, an ethical hacker's perspective on Australian businesses. And so we are giving them an opportunity to fix their issues before real hackers find them.
And Matt, what does risk mean to you now compared to when you first started in industrial crisis management?
So it's quite interesting. The way I see cybersecurity today is in fact the way I discovered security back in the days when I started my career in Shanghai on a construction site. And the security there was still quite lax, probably the way it was in Australia in the 60s or 70s.
Sure.
With we had great difficulty imposing security measures. And I think they obviously, since a lot of awareness has been implemented via training, all sorts of measures on industrial sites, and now in cybersecurity, I think it's the similar approach, but we're at in the early days of the journey, and progressively people need to take cybersecurity more seriously. They understand that it's not going anywhere; it's part of the business.
And Matt, you have a gorgeous French accent. Please pronounce your surname because I know I absolutely did it no good by saying it the way I did.
Oh, it was perfect. So it's Breuillac.
There we go,
the name
guys.
is.
That's how you say it, not how I say it. Now, something I'm very curious to learn. You once ran 68 kilometers at night in freezing temperatures twice with just a headlamp to guide you. What did that teach you about limits and what made you decide to go back and do it again?
So that's quite interesting. Okay, I'm quite aware I'm not in shape anymore at all, but I used
Safe
to
space.
I used to run a lot. Any marathon or race I could find around France. In fact, I started running in Shanghai. In fact, despite the traffic, which was a bit intense. But I can't run on a treadmill. I just got to see the scenery go
Yeah.
by. And and then progressively started running instead of commuting in the countryside. And I was working at some point in the south of France, and I was living on a village, like a little hill, very steep village with an old fortress on top from the Middle
It's
Ages.
a lot of elevation.
Very much, yeah, very much so. In a little car, you have to go back to first gear to get up there.
Oh my gosh.
And so I was doing that every day, and that gave me a bit of an edge when running on flat surfaces. But for the 68-kilometer race, that was quite an intense one. It's very famous in France. It's called Saint-Élion because it's between the city of Saint-Étienne and the city of Lyon. And it is a race that happens every year in December or around Christmas. And my company used to be a major sponsor,
Sure.
the company I was working for. And so we were a lot of employees attending, and it was like a pride to be there. But it's the kind of race every time. After a few kilometers, you're like, oh gosh, why did I register for this again?
Yeah.
And it's quite intense, but it just feels great afterwards. It's very nice training for that. And this one is particularly nice because it's at night.
Oh wow.
And everyone's got a front light in the snow, and so you can see the trail of front lights in in the hills, and it's very beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I absolutely love. I've become a long distance runner, and just the sightseeing that you see and just being out in nature. You know, sometimes it's 5 a.m. in the morning. It's pitch dark, but it's an absolute peace and quiet and just so spectacular.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. In fact, when I was running for commute in the countryside, once I fell face to face with a wild boar.
Oh, wow.
And those are quite dangerous. And but I don't know if it's the front light that or he was half asleep or
hopefully, because
whatever.
they can kill people. Yeah.
I know. I just carried on my path. I would pass within a few meters, and nothing happened, so it was okay. Maybe it was
Thank
just
goodness.
half asleep.
Yeah, it's even like in Perth when my friend Karen and I go running, we always see wildlife no matter what. I'm just like, as long as it's not a snake, that's fine. I can deal with anything else as long as it's not a snake. I am curious though, so how long did it take you to get to that ultra mileage of 68 Ks? Because that doesn't happen overnight. And I think for many people that feels almost unattainable, you know, sometimes reaching those sort of running goals.
Yeah, so it's a few years of running. First on flat in the city.
Yeah.
I was running in Shanghai or in Paris, that was flat. And then in that particular, I was working on a nuclear enrichment site, not exactly in the south, but towards the south of France. And it's a very hilly area. And so you go from hill to hill, so you're always jogging up and down pretty much. Which gives you a huge advantage because you're used to climbing, to keeping your cardio and rhythm, even when you're going uphill. And you can tell then when you go in a race in a big city like Paris, as soon as there's a bit of a slope, everyone is slowing down and you're just
Half
keeping
dying.
up. Yeah. And so after a few months of training like that every day, then you're pretty ready.
And what made you go back and do it twice?
I was for 2 years on that on that site, and like quite a few of the colleagues were going, and so it was. I was also hoping to do a better time.
Oh, I see. Right.
Which I did a similar time. The second, the first one, first time I ran, it was quite icy. Actually, once fell and lost the batteries from my front light.
Oh no.
But the good thing in races like that is because it's quite tough. You find great solidarity between people. So if someone falls, everyone jumps to help them up, and
Yes.
it's pretty nice. There's a good spirit, really good spirit.
And you mentioned something earlier, when you said, you ask yourself, why are you doing this? So what made you do it? Was it that sense of community with fellow colleagues, or?
Yeah, it was this, and also I'm someone who needs a lot of exercise in general, and I probably should be starting to do some again. I've been very busy in the past few years, but
it happens.
Progressively, I have a plan starting by cycling, obviously, to get more in shape, and then running. Obviously, you need to be below a certain weight to run without injuring yourself. So.
Yes, and especially for one's knees as well.
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
learned. So,
yeah.
because I was at yoga on Monday, and I've become friends with my yoga teacher, and she was like, "Why are we doing this marathon? We've got a marathon on Sunday."
Oh, great!
I was like, "Oh, that's a good question. Do you find you quite competitive with yourself? Like for me, it's about pushing that limit and seeing how far I can sort of go. Are you the same?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, in marathons, pretty much every time, you have those people who carry a flag with a time.
Yes, the pacers.
Yeah,
The pacer, is that right?
I think it's called like that. You just grab one of those guys by the braces, and you can tell because there's always it's very psychological as well.
Yeah.
And you know that you follow that person with the flag for that time. This is what you're gonna do. So you follow the 3-hour flag, let's say, and you don't let it go. And usually there's a bit of a group behind.
Yes.
Because everyone is like...
I've noticed that, yeah.
You're like, I'm suffering, but I have to go. I have to go.
It's we did Rottnest in June, and you could see and HPF, and everyone kind of like goes behind the pace. And then my friend was saying it's kind of like a bit of a windbreaker, so less resistance. So it kind of like huddled up and kept going. But what was so I think beautiful from a human point of view, when I did Rottnest at that 35k mark, you kind of see everyone who's been tracking okay. People start to break. And everyone just kind of pulled together and sharing salt tablets and gels. And it was just so nice that everyone kind of just, that human spirit just connects, hey?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's also important to manage your resources.
Your fuel.
So you can tell if you're in the red zone, but not too red, like let's say amber.
Yeah.
So you're doing more on a race day, obviously, that you would when you're training, but not too much. And I was always surprised to see people who stop completely just a kilometer from arrival. It's like after all this effort, but they just went over the limit, and then they just have to stop.
And their body just says no.
Yeah.
I saw a guy had a knot in his leg. Oh, it was bad. And he's like, I just can't. And I think he was maybe like 5Ks out. I'm like, whoa, if you don't pace yourself and, set those sort of times, and like you say, watch the pace or something, you can really ruin your entire race plans. So.
That's where the training comes in, where you get to really know yourself, what is your limit. And you can have all the watches and gadgets and things that you want. In the end, it's very much feeling your...
Completely. On that note, what was the darkest moment, physically or mentally, during those runs?
The darkest moment?
Was there a moment you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just not doing this?
Well, in a jokey way, because once you're in, you
Love
have
that in a jokey way.
you have to go. You have pressure. You told all the people I'm doing this race.
Yes, we tend to brag. Why, I don't know.
So if you stop halfway through, it's a bit of and even for yourself, motivation. So you want to you just keep going. Worst case scenario, you slow down a little bit to recover, and then you carry on. But you have to go. Yeah. So
Yeah, and of course there's Strava. So if it didn't go on Strava, and if you didn't finish, so yeah, we have that added pressure as well.
yeah.
Matt, did you find these races that you've done, when you finish them, do you feel you were the same person at the end?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Just a difference between a marathon, since it's reasonably flat. You after that you can go just have a shower,
Oh, rottenness, no.
and your rottenness is maybe not that
Very
flat.
hilly, yeah.
But on a marathon in a big city, you're reasonably okay after that. Whereas a trail run, because it's off-road and usually a bit longer,
Yeah.
after that your legs are...
Ruined.
I remember having to lift my legs to put them in the
Oh,
bathtub,
wow.
to go
Yeah.
and the next day you're just taking it really easy,
Yes, I
taking
had.
the lift instead of the stairs.
And get in a wheelchair. I actually did my first trail about 2 weeks ago, and we did 20 Ks. Oh my goodness, I have, I think, joints in my kneecaps, my ankles. I didn't even know existed, because you're everything's trying to stabilize,
Yeah.
right? So you're constantly like going like this, and
Yeah.
wow, it was so different. So you did 68 Ks trail.
Yeah, those were
Oh
trails
my gosh, good
in the
grief.
snow and sometimes with ice patches and on top of
Wow.
that, if you're at towards the front, you have to break the snow, like it's fresh snow.
Of course,
So
yeah.
sometimes you step in and it's like a tractor trail, and so it's
Grueling.
just deeper, and you go up.
Oh, wow. What did you feel these races revealed about your ability to, face adversity in life and business?
Yeah, I think it feels great in the sense that you fix goals to yourself and achieve them. And I think it's not necessarily in racing, but in multiple domain. But that's very true in sport in general. If you fix goals and achieve sometimes even better than you had
Yeah.
expected that you could do, that's I didn't expect any of that initially. I was just jogging casually, and
Yeah,
then I
wow.
started to
Casual jog.
do it casual, and then
68 trail run. Oh my gosh. Wow. And what was your time, Matt?
so 7 hours and 15 minutes on the 68K.
Wow.
All the timings are still online, in fact.
Yeah, amazing.
And on marathons, I think my best marathon I did 3 hours and 55 seconds,
Yeah, great.
which was Nice Cannes. So along the coast, on the Mediterranean coast. Beautiful marathon. Very
Beautiful.
nice.
So how many marathons have you done?
I'd say 6 or 7.
Wow, yeah. Incredible. I'm doing my third one on Sunday. And
Great.
yeah, do you still find you kind of get a bit nervous beforehand and like the self-doubt starts to creep in? I've been trying to pack it away, but yeah, focus on the carb loading meal. Do you find the same happens to you?
Well, I would prepare quite a bit. In France, we had a sort of a pack where, because before the race, you want to have taken a lot of, is it slow sugars?
Yeah.
And apparently, if you want to do that, you by eating pasta, it's very difficult because you need to cook them just right.
I see.
And having a huge load of pasta before a big race is not a good idea.
Got it.
Because you have all the digest. So in France, they had this thing that looked a bit like a hot chocolate, or like one of those ready-made. You just pour water and that powder.
Like a protein powder, do you mean? No.
I'm not sure what was in there,
Similar.
but it was legal.
Oh, good.
No, but one thing I remember is that after having just half of that cake, you'd feel warm, like from you cannot say, well, I'm not going to run in the end, because you have to burn that. And then also in that pack came the different gels with a map, and so you know exactly at which kilometer you need to grab the green gel, the yellow gel. They're usually caffeine and sugar gel.
Yeah, I can't do the gels.
Like a glucose syrup. Yeah, well, sometimes you're feeling really like run down. You have one of those and a sip of water and boom.
Yeah, true. At the moment, I take hydrates and then salt tablets behind those gels. Or maybe like the jelly sweets, I find they're okay.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's hard though.
It's
You're running
sugar.
and trying to eat a jelly sweet and half choking and dying. And
Yeah. I used to try and be more autonomous. Like, you have stops where they give you water, and
Yeah.
I'd usually try and not stop. Just have my cable back,
Yes.
gels, and keep going. And yeah, this way you save time at the pit stop.
Yes, definitely. Well, Matt, I think it's absolutely incredible. Having done that trail run, 68 Ks, I can't even get my head around it, twice is absolutely amazing.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
You'd
I'm
be
so
surprised.
impressed.
You'd
Yeah.
be surprised if you can run a marathon. You can very likely do.
Oh, don't
a
encourage
race
me. Is that next on my list?
In fact, there's a few in Europe, in UK as well. There's
Okay.
a really long one. Forgot the name of it. It might be called the Spine. I think it's along that wall that's used to separate Scotland and Britain and
That'd be
England.
beautiful, yeah.
And that's even a longer race. So there's quite a few like that which can qualify you for the famous UTMB.
Okay.
Do you know about
no,
the UTMB?
I'm going to have to look at this,
The
yeah.
UTMB is the Ultra Trail du Mont Blanc. So it's, the highest peak in Europe
Sure.
is the Mont Blanc
Yes.
in the Alps.
Yeah.
And so there is the most extreme trail you can do, at least in Europe,
Gosh.
is a trail around that. And because it's a bit dangerous, it's in the mountain, they don't want to have to go and fish people out with a helicopter.
Oh my gosh.
So you have to have qualified in a few trail races before.
I see.
You can actually go to that race. So the people there, they would all be
super fit.
very, very fit. Yeah.
Wow, I'll definitely have to have a look. Do you have photos that you could share with us from your runs?
Yeah.
Because what we can do, we can tack it into the episode.
Sure.
It's always nice to showcase your
Sure.
journey.
I have one photo of my arrival at the Niscan with the time on it as well.
Cool. So. Yeah, please share it with us, and then we'll add it in there for everyone to see. I think one thing I love about running, and Mel actually got me into running, park run. Oh my gosh, that's where the addiction started. The one thing I love is that it's just something, like you set that time aside with yourself. It can be with friends and stuff, but it just gives you this grit and resilience that no one can take away from you because you've actually physically ran, 2Ks, 5Ks. It doesn't have to be these extreme long distances, whilst that's incredible, but it's just something that you do for yourself. I just absolutely have grown to love it so much.
And you get that habit of pushing a little bit further, and you end up doing that in your work as well.
Yes.
And everything seems easier. So once you've stressed your body to be able to run for a certain distance and time, and then everything in the daily life seems super easy. That's very nice to feel.
I'm so glad you've mentioned that because I've noticed for myself the last year and a half since I started running and pushing. I'm also competitive, which doesn't help. But it just feels like stuff that used to really stress me out. Like you just feel like you can handle it just that bit more better. Like I say, it just gives you this resilience that like no other that I've experienced before. So
yeah, it's a great way of managing stress.
Yeah.
Exercise in general, I'd say, whether it's cycling, swimming or running, but I prefer running.
Yeah, same. Well, you've inspired me, Matt. Please, I'm going to have a look at that trail run. And
sure.
Next to me, hopefully in 2 years' time, is the Comrades in South Africa, so 89. I don't think it's trail. I think it's just more road.
Okay.
So they go from Pietermaritzburg to Coast, and then it changes. I think they've got their 100th year in 2027. So we'll see. It's a grueling training regime, but I think it's a good challenge. So
excellent.
Yeah. Let's talk cybersecurity. So I'd love to know from you, most business leaders still aren't taking cybersecurity seriously. Why do you think that is?
I think most business leaders, as they should, are focused on their core business, what is basically bringing in the bottom line. And otherwise, anything other that is functional, like IT and cyber being part of IT, comes as secondary in their list. So it's like, it's all working, all good. IT's got it, and so I think they, by not knowing better, they just assume that everything is covered. Or there is also, it won't happen to me. It's okay. We're not a target, and whereas if you actually do just a little bit of Google research, you'll find out that there's quite a lot of hacks happening in Australia. There's actually an insurance company called Weber Insurance. They have a nice tracker where they show all the or some of the hacks that are found in the press on Australian businesses. I'm sure a lot of hacks we also never hear about because either they never figured out, they don't know they've been hacked, or they not necessarily communicate on it. So
I just want to make that distinction more for our listeners. So we've got IT and cybersecurity. They're two separate things, right? It's like branding and marketing.
Yeah,
they work together.
Yeah, exactly. So it's quite different in the sense that your IT, well, there's an overlap. You could have a Venn diagram, but the IT is basically going to set things up and make them work.
Yeah.
Whereas cybersecurity has many branches, but the one that Cybernode is in is ethical hacking, which means we come with the opposite mindset, which is how, this is designed to do this and that, but what if we try something else?
Sure.
And then we get a different answer. And so we apply this to either company networks, so that's the IT part, or to web apps or mobile apps. And this is where developers are involved. So quite a few businesses, either they want their infrastructure tested for peace of mind, or because they may have some certification requirements like ISO 27001.
Yeah.
Or they've got an app, it's going to be released to the public. It contains some sensitive information, let's say invoices and bills. People can check their, I don't know, like imagine a Telstra, like telecommunication app where you could see your phone calls, how much your next bill is going to be. Before they release it to the public. They want it pen tested.
Yes.
And this is where we're going to do things like reverse engineering cookies, seeing if we can maybe jump from one user to another and see someone else's account, or become an admin and create havoc in the system. And so by doing this analysis, we basically after provide our clients with a list of everything that we found and give them the chance to fix everything. This way, when the app is released, there's no low-hanging fruits.
Got it.
It's pretty hardened.
And Matt, for those of us that aren't, IT, used to the IT jargon, do you mind to break it down exactly what pen testing is? Because I find it's a bit like the branding space. There's often a lot of these words that get thrown around and people don't like feeling stupid, so they just push it to one side. Could you break it down for us, like in simple layman's terms, what exactly that is and how a business owner can benefit from a service like that?
Yeah, so it's basically the same as hiring a hacker to come and check. So we use the same tools and techniques as hackers.
Yeah.
Except that we list everything we find, we take screenshots, evidence, and we propose remediation, so ways of fixing things. A good way to look at it is imagine you have a house and you bring a professional burglar to tell you, oh, look, if I climb on this and I can access through the bathroom window and that's it. So consider putting some bars on this window because it's an easy way in.
Yes.
That's pretty much the analogy.
That makes sense. Or the other thing is actually lock yourself at your house like I've done and have to climb in your bathroom windows so then you can see where the gaps are. Yes. Top window. Yeah, anyway. What was the turning point that led you from chemical engineer to ethical hacking?
Oh, that's quite interesting. So I've always been passionate about computer networks, computers in general, and cyber. I did a bit of hacking between classmates when I, back in the days of the dial-up modems.
Yes, oh my gosh, those days.
and we'd open each other's CD-ROM drive from a distance and things like that. So that was fun. And then back then, I think it was maybe a bit early to be into cyber. It was still the early days. And that was still, the late 90s. And so I studied chemical engineering and started a career, obviously, in the industry, so in the chemical/nuclear industry, and later on oil and gas. But all along, I had in mind that, I was kind of following up. I was looking at the news, and I remember, when I arrived in Australia, I was actually offshore on a Shell facility called Prelude. And I remember calling my wife at the end of my shifts. I was saying, damn, cybersecurity is really booming. It's the time, but it was too much of a gap to jump from being a chemical engineer in oil and gas to cyber. And then I was, after that, I had a few roles in engineering jobs in Perth. And I was kind of looking at a way to improve the way we work in engineering, where we have multi-billion-dollar projects, yet most of what we do is on Excel and email.
Pretty much,
and by networking a little bit, I knew there was a movement called data-centric approach as opposed to document-centric.
Sure.
Where if you have all the specs and the way you measure progress is by releasing documents, procedures, specification. And that wasn't a very good way. That's like 1980s method. And I was looking for that data-centric approach where they put everything around a 3D model. You might have heard about Industry 4.0, how do they call that? Digital twin and those kind of... and by networking a little bit, I found a company that was in oil and gas, but was looking at developing apps. And so I joined them, and while working for them, I was able to do the trainings I needed to be able to understand what the developers were doing. And so I did quite a few trainings and for me, a lot of that was refreshers from my student days. And so that was in Linux, networking, everything on the internet pretty much runs on Linux.
Yeah.
And so that allowed me to bridge the gap. And so after 2 years with these guys, I thought, okay, I think I'm ready. And so it's time to, with my wife's support, of course.
Oh, great. Yeah.
And it was time to jump from the burning platform.
As we've done. And how long ago was that?
That was 2 years ago.
Okay, great. And have you found the journey so far?
Great. They are, so I'd say in general, this has helped me really go beyond boundaries that I had fixed myself as an employee. Because when you're back to the wall and there is no choice, it has to work.
Yeah.
That's the best way to push you beyond those limits that you had fixed for yourself.
And that takes me back to the conversation we were having about being in that 68K is like the only way forward is running forward. Like you can't back out now, Strava aside. Like you have to just give it your all.
Yeah. Or you could think, well, if I go back the other way, it's just as long, so I might as well finish.
And it's worse. Matt, it sounds to me like that conversation with your wife where you initially said, cybersecurity is booming was quite a pivotal moment for you. And I think a lot of people have those moments and they kind of just park it because we've been so conditioned to think there's this path we're supposed to follow, school, uni, work, have kids, retire, die. Was there anything that kind of, pushed you more in that direction of following that path of cybersecurity?
Yeah, I would say it's when you graduate, indeed, you're on a certain on rail tracks, more or less, especially in France, I would say, given if you've been through, let's say, a certain level of education, then this is very much recognized later on in your line of work. Even decades after having graduated, people still say, oh, that person went through that school. But I gave that away back then because in the nuclear industry, there was a big question mark on the future. Obviously, nuclear is very linked with political decisions. And Fukushima happened, the uranium ore was going down, opportunities were vanishing for having an interesting career abroad and like I wanted. And that's why I basically went off the rail the first time to go from nuclear to oil and gas and pretty much start not completely afresh, but it's a different line of work. And so it wasn't that difficult to just decide to change again, take another change of direction.
And what have you found most challenging over the last 2 years?
I'd say I've learned a lot, and I think I've heard that from other business owners who were much more experienced, which was I wish I knew from
Yeah.
the beginning
Yep.
everything that I've learned. So that's the challenge: is basically surrounding yourself, I guess, with the right people, and people who have experience and who can tell you, don't waste time doing that. It doesn't work.
Yes.
And that's the way it's going to work for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's for example, I've spent quite a bit of time looking for clients doing mostly social media outreach and cold calling, but in the Asia Pacific region, and that yielded a lot of meetings, a lot of people happy to have a chat, discuss technical points, have a proposal, but the conversion rate was not great.
Quite low, yeah.
And after that, after doing that for about a year, trying to optimize this with all the campaigns, and I just changed direction because I realized the few conversions I was having were local
Sure.
businesses, because people can see you, meet you in person, they see your brick and mortar business.
Yeah.
And also, I think specifically in cybersecurity, there's a significant trust factor. And so this is where things started picking up, is when I really started networking here in Perth.
Yeah. And I think I've just noticed like a lot of business owners, instead of focusing like on their local area, they seem to have this perception that it's good to kind of go broad really quickly. And whilst it sounds good for your ego, I think a lot of them actually miss a key opportunity here. They cast their net almost too wide instead of leveraging like what's right in front of them at the time. So I think it's great that you've mentioned that, because I think it's really important to maximize your local area that you're in.
Yeah, definitely. And you have competitors abroad as well who might be
Yes.
better implemented. They might have already a good reputation. They've been there for decades. So it's not easy to go and go to foreign markets. Like, for
No.
example, Singapore,
Yeah.
in my field, is probably much more saturated. So it's not a blue ocean compared to the Australian market. Is still it's a bit earlier in a little bit behind Singapore, for example, and so you have much more opportunities there.
Yeah. Matt, we're going to move to our rapid fire round. How this works, I've got 3 words. I'd love for you to share with us what comes to mind, just one sentence.
Okay.
So the first one is obsession. What does that mean for you?
Obsession, I would say, you cannot fail. You have to go. You have to keep going. You're back to the wall, and because the only alternative would be to go and flip burgers at McDonald's.
Sounds awful. The second one I have is exposure.
Exposure, yeah, interesting. So I think and from the little experience I have, but the best way to reach out to businesses is to present to as many people as possible, and basically show what you do, what you have done, that you're focused on quality, on reliability, and have as much exposure as possible, so that people trust you and start to refer you or ask you for work.
Yeah. And the last one I have is control. What does that mean for you?
Alors, control, you do have a lot more when you're a business owner, in both good and bad way, because you're more in control, so you can waste a year doing outreach in the Asia Pacific region, but you can also have control of who you work with. That's something you have much less when you're an employee. And you have control on your schedule, on your lifestyle. You have a lot more freedom as a business owner. That's very much appreciated.
So like freedom, right?
Yeah.
Matt, you've worked across continents in high-stakes environments. How has this shaped the way that you lead today?
I think I'm pretty easygoing with, and I'm used to working with many different cultures. I've worked in China, in Kazakhstan, in Canada, in Mongolia, in, in many countries. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty easygoing. and pretty efficient to work in with different cultures. It's quite.
And the human aspect, what's the similarity amongst all of those different cultures?
Well,
do you find it quite different, or?
It is quite different. There's things you need to know. Certain countries where, if they tell you, let's say you have a discussion, you might need, how let's say with people from the same culture, to agree on something, okay, we're going to do this tomorrow, you might have a couple clarification questions after I discuss, and then that's it. We're good. With some other cultures, they'll say yes, yes, yes. And you might have at the end to double check and say, can you explain to me again, just briefly, what you understand from what needs to be done. So you used to joke in Shanghai where you ask someone, where's the way to the city center? They'll say that way. And then you need to ask another person, they'll say that way.
Yes.
And then you need a third one to really double check.
Which way you're going.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so that was for work that you worked all over the world?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. And what's something you believe deeply that others might disagree with? That others, what's something you hold true that you think others would disagree with?
That's a tricky one. I haven't thought about that before.
Maybe something around your running or business.
I don't know. Maybe on diets. I think if you if you're exercising a lot, you don't need to worry about diet. That's something that people might disagree with.
Yeah. I was like, can we make that a short? Because I'm still worried about what I eat.
Because there's so many diets out there.
So many.
And it's if you have enough exercise, of course there's basics like you need to eat enough vegetables and protein and stuff, but otherwise just exercising a lot is most of the work to being fit.
Yeah, it gets that metabolism going.
And I know I'm not a good example of that right now,
it's
but
fine. But you've got it within you to change that, right? I mean, gosh, 68K is trail run. I'm still trying to absorb that.
I know exactly what to do to get back in shape. At least.
Yeah. Mel's going to get you to park run. What are you most proud of?
My family, I'd say, my children, and proud and happy of what we have, I think. At times are a bit challenging when you're starting a business.
Of course.
You're both, husband and wife are working with young kids and all the activities, but it works. We manage. It's definitely a lot more difficult than the previous generations where roles were clear. You had a housewife and a husband going to work.
It's changed, hasn't
it?
It's
changed a lot. But I'm proud that it's all working out, and we're pretty happy. So that is.
And any tips for our listeners who do have a young family and trying to juggle all those other things? What have you guys found works so well?
Communication. So trying to be as aligned as possible, and and helping each other out.
So when you say communication, do you have like your date night scheduled in and then you guys kind of chat, or is it just kind of open communication all year round?
No, but it's important to know exactly to manage expectations and know when you need to come and help the other and whatnot. Help each other out.
And if you look at your journey over the last 2 years, what's something that you're most proud of that you've done?
I'd say because the business is pretty much picking up now.
Great.
So I'd say that's already pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like in one way it feels like of course it has to work.
Doesn't always.
And in another way it's like wow, I've started from zero.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I brought clients with me. I actually started a business and created and started in a new branch. So I didn't bring any previous clients.
Yeah.
So I guess that was the tricky part.
Yeah, and I think one thing I really like about you is that you're brave enough to put yourself out there. Like you reached out to me, just for, hey Trace, like interested in the podcast. I think it's really good. And I think that's often what gets people that bit further in business and in life. So yeah, kudos. It was really nice to see.
Thank you. Thank you. In fact, it's been the experience so far is every time you think that you're on the highest summit, you always see another one, and you're told,
Yes.
no, that's not it. You need to go there now, and then you need to keep.
So true. My previous business coach had a saying, every level has another devil. And it's like something that feels so far away, you kind of get there. Then, like you said, that something goes higher and higher. And I'm like, Tracy, will you ever just stop? But I think that's like part of the beauty of it, right? You just keep going, and like a long run, just keep pushing yourself.
Yeah. And being a business owner is there's more frights when things don't work out, but there's definitely a lot more excitement when things do come together, and you're like, yes, got this contract.
Yeah.
And I think there's more ups and downs. It's less monotonous than a 9 to 5.
Yeah,
in general.
there's definitely a lot of excitement.
Yeah.
It's like you have, like you said, you've got those high highs and those lows. But
Yeah.
I think mostly there's maybe a few more lows. Maybe it's just where I'm at in my business. Like there's a few more lows and there's a lot of wins, but it kind of fluctuates between the two. But it's those dull moments that make those wins just so awesome when you actually do, close a proposal that you thought you would never do. Start the podcast, reach out and, start a business or whatever the case is. So just, I've never felt more alive, to be honest with you.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I feel the same.
Yeah. Outside of work, what brings you the most joy right now?
Out of work?
Outside work.
Oh, outside work. At the moment, there's not much outside work except time with the kids.
Yeah.
So that would be it. And I do honestly spend quite a lot of time with my children.
Great.
At least compared to what I've seen in previous generations. And where the dad, the breadwinner, might be, always leaving super early, coming back late when everyone's pretty much ready to go to sleep. Now I have flexibility. I can see my children, sometimes drop them off. In fact, quite often, take them to activities.
Great.
And I just juggle my meetings around. And so, in fact, I'm seeing the kids quite a lot, which is great because they grow very fast. And so you don't want to miss out on that. Soon they'll be at uni and they'll be like, bye.
They won't want to know you. I've seen with my little nieces and my nephew, they grow so quickly. My goodness, like it just goes like that. Yeah. A term that often gets thrown around is mom guilt. Do dads experience the same?
What exactly do you mean?
So
by
it means like, a mother, because they have kids, they feel guilty from being away from their children, or they feel guilty doing the business stuff, or guilty taking time away, or there's that constant cloud that hangs over them. Do you guys have the same?
I'd say, well, at least personally, no. I'd say kids are also proud to have parents that work. They have come to our respective offices and they're like, oh, they're very,
it's
very
cool.
impressed.
It's good for them to see,
And of course, my kids are 7 and 8. So if we were firemen or they would be even more proud.
More impressed.
That'd be much more impressive than working in an office. But
and their dad ran 68Ks twice. Oh my word.
So that's pretty. I think that's pretty good. That's.
And what's one thing you wish more people in business were honest about?
I think in general, I quite like being all cards on the table. Maybe it's my French style, but for example, if people, let's say you've made a proposal and they decide to go with another vendor, it's perfectly okay. And in fact, the feedback is very welcome. And that's why I usually tell them, it's like, let me know, was it the price? Was it, was our proposal not detailed enough? Any feedback is welcome. And some people they're afraid of giving feedback, and so they'll just ghost. And then you have months of having no information, and you almost feel guilty still calling them, trying to reach out. What happened?
Yes. I'm like you in that I'd rather know, like, you've gone somewhere else. It's fine. It's business. It happens. Like, but at least like you said earlier, it's not like you constantly following up and meanwhile they've gone elsewhere. And I'm not sure if it's like Australian culture or because I'm also quite, just tell me, like, just be straight. It's fine. It's business.
Yeah.
We can still, go for coffee, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I have noticed people avoid it and completely ghost you. Don't answer the phone.
Yeah.
Avoid everything. Ah. Matt, how has building a business changed you at your core?
I'd say so. Yeah, I'd say it's what I mentioned earlier, but I've been pushed outside of my boundaries, and I'm doing things that I would never do normally.
Awesome.
So you can imagine when I was an employee, I used to absolutely really want to avoid any networking event. Not even attend, let alone speak at a networking
really?
event.
Yeah, my house changed.
Yeah. So, but as a business owner, it's the best way to promote your business. So there's no choice. You have to go there and make a good performance because it will pay back.
Yeah, I think we have to just be so brave because you constantly are putting yourself on display, and with that comes great feedback, but also, some bad feedback or people that aren't as supportive. So you literally, I would say you're like a frog on a pegboard in a biology class, just like lying there, and everyone is just like, you literally have to put yourself out there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but as you also said, it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
At the same time to grow your personal brand, your business brand, and I find the Perth networks are really, really great.
Yeah. People in general are good. I haven't had any negative feedback in general. People are positive and happy to meet, happy to have coffee and discuss how we can do business. A good side of Australia is people are quite straightforward.
Yes.
So things, I think, are a bit easier. They might not be as eager to invest as Americans, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Where they're like, have you heard of I'm sure you've heard of Canvas?
Yes.
Yeah, so these were Perth.
I wish I'd thought of it, damn it.
So those Perth founders, at least from what I read in the press, they had to go to US to really find proper venture capitalism. And this is where they started, really.
Yeah, Melanie Perkins. I think it took like 8 or 9 years before she said she got so many no's before she actually got a yes. So it took a while, like just constantly no. And then someone said yes and changed. I mean, it's worth billions now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a huge success.
Yeah. And I know we were chatting before the show, you found networking in Perth really helpful in those first couple of years of business.
Yeah. There are many groups.
Yes, so many.
between the BNIs and then all the specialized group for either mining or energy. So there's heaps of choice.
Yeah. And what's the most unsettling truth you've uncovered about cybersecurity that keeps you up at night?
It's that people assume that they are secure, but they don't necessarily, or they have no clue.
Yeah.
I wouldn't assume. It's like, I think there's certain things that need to be, and maybe it will happen in the coming years, but need to be enforced by the government progressively. Same as happened in the past with safety, where there are significant fines for companies who really expose personal data, personal information, and I think until this is done, unfortunately, people are not gonna. If house insurance wasn't compulsory, I'm pretty sure most people wouldn't take it.
No.
They'd say, no, my house not gonna burn.
That's like healthcare. Some people don't take it. I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah. And so therefore, there's a penalty if you take it much later.
Yes.
To compensate for. Because if you take it just, when you're 60 plus, well, you haven't contributed all the years where you were in good health. Yeah.
And Matt, what are some key things, besides reaching out to someone like yourself, that business owners can do to just try and have a bit of cybersecurity in their business?
I think a lot of it is education. And there's always, no matter how secure you are, you always have the human factor. Where that person in HR who opens a PDF and boom, the whole security has been bypassed.
From a PDF,
a PDF or a phishing email,
And they're getting better and better, aren't they? Some of them look so real.
Yeah. So and AI is very much helping specifically with those kind of attacks. And so I think having decent training is quite I mean, it's a huge win for companies to provide regular training to their staff and make sure that they're reasonably aware. And then after that, you can go and start to look into more details. Okay, what is our attack surface? You always want to reduce your attack surface to the minimum. Maybe having as many things in the cloud, avoid connected things that don't need to be connected. So having, segregation, avoiding having sometimes business owners with a big ego want to have access to everything.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a good idea, because as the business leader or owner, you're the prime target. You're the whale, like they call that. And so you'll be more targeted by phishing attacks and things like that. So having access to everything means then if they do hijack your account, they'll have access to everything as well.
Everything. I haven't found some people share their passwords just over like an email. I'm like, please use a safe password share, because they can get intercepted, right?
Yeah, so emails were never designed to be secure.
Yeah.
It can be intercepted, and so it can be spoofed as well if your email DNS records are not set up properly. And so, that's something you need to be aware about. It's actually better to use things like Teams, for example, because you're on an HTTPS connection at least.
Right.
It's not the best. The best is to use one of those password sharing tools.
Yes.
And nowadays they also have those password managers that are quite handy to use. Some have sharing functions where you can share passwords between a team.
Yes.
And this way it's done in a very, let's say, secure environment.
Because I find a lot of business owners are rushing. So with us, obviously, we do social media management, so we might need their LinkedIn password or whatever the case may be. A lot of them are rushing. They'll just send it like over email. I'm like, oh my gosh, please use like Bitwarden or something. And I think majority of them are free. But then it just, safe password sharer is definitely the way to go.
Yep, definitely.
And I have to ask, because it's been spoken about for the last couple of years, what role is AI playing in cybersecurity?
Interesting. So at the moment, it's mostly helping with the social engineering or not so technical attacks. So it's going to help people draft phishing emails without mistakes. Before, it used to be full of spelling mistakes, so it's easy to spot.
Yeah.
Now they look a lot better. They're better crafted. AI is also able to go and look for context automatically on the site. And so there'll be better phishing attacks, more targeted, and so I receive at least on my personal email, I receive so many phishing emails.
I get a few as well
from
on business one.
ATO and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Bank accounts that I don't have. I've never had anything to do with that bank.
No. And they'll brand it, like I got one, they branded it with Design Studio Perth's branding. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, did I sign up to something, or where is this from? And it was a phishing email. And then another thing I've noticed they do through PayPal. They send you a calendar invite and they put like payment due. And like, if you don't know any better, it looks legit, like it's a reminder to pay something. And then they're clever. They put all the account details in the actual calendar invite. And if you're someone like me who's got an assistant, you think, oh yeah, we've got a process though. But yeah, it looks so legit. Like in your calendar, I'm just like, oh my word, they're getting so clever.
Yeah. These are things to look for.
Yeah.
I'd say if you have a professional email account, like with Microsoft or Google, there's pretty good filtering of phishing. So that's they tend to be, when you have to draw a line in the sand, they tend to over filter a little bit. So you have to review. Sometimes at the end of the day, you receive a summary email of what was filtered out, and you go, okay, actually that was good. And
good. Rather that though than having nothing.
But on a personal email, you get so many.
So many.
Yeah.
Matt, now we're both immigrants to Perth. I'd love to know, what role does this beautiful city play in your life?
It's quite interesting. It's the longest I've ever been in one place.
Oh wow!
So I was an expat kid. So I was born in Paris. 2 months later, I was on plane to Toronto. So I was always on the go. And the longest I've ever been anywhere is probably 4 years at a time in Aberdeen, Scotland. And so here has been quite a long time, where we arrived with one very young child. The second one was born a year after. After that was COVID.
Oh my gosh!
And then after that, starting the business, and so time flies, literally.
100%. And you guys are not faint-hearted at all. You just go, yeah?
Yeah.
Matt, any final words of wisdom for our listeners before we sign off?
Yeah, I'd say make sure that technology has never been evolving as fast as it does nowadays. So I think everyone needs to be at least a little bit aware and following the news of things that are changing rapidly, like cyber and AI. These are the main topics.
Yeah.
And what this implies for you as an individual or as a business.
And I think especially for one's parents, because I find they target the older generation who have no idea when it comes to, the internet. They just see something, yeah, sure, no problem. I'm just like, oh my gosh, the amount of things my folks share with me. I'm like, don't close it, change your password. Don't do that. So yeah, they seem to really target them as well. So I guess, make sure your folks are okay as well.
Yeah. It's funny, some people, even elderly, can be really tech savvy.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the majority are not so interested.
No.
Because they were not born with that.
No.
And so it's even harder for them to keep up.
Yeah. Matt, thank you so much for your time today. Where is the best place for our listeners to go should they wish to connect with you?
So I'd say LinkedIn is the easiest way to connect.
Great. So we'll pop your LinkedIn. Anything else?
Yeah, sure. Otherwise, our website, which is cybernode.au. It's quite simple. There's a contact form in there. Or you can email us at sales@cybernode.au.
Perfect. And I believe, Matt, you've been on a few podcasts as well?
Yes,
I have. A podcast, yeah?
So I don't have a personal podcast, but I've been on a podcast with PWD, Perth Web Design, with Oliver Wood. And that was a great experience.
Yes.
He's got quite a few businesses in Perth. He's also a member of WA Leaders, which is a really good networking group.
Yes. I was a member. It's great. Well. Yeah, highly recommend. Yeah, fantastic, excellent. Matt. Well, for our listeners, if you've listened this far, thank you so much. Now, if you do have a question that you'd like us to ask one of our guests, please feel free to email info@therealbizlifechronicles.com. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you very much.